Our guest is Nick Iarocci. He's the county prosecutor, and he is running for Conneaut Municipal Court judge. First, Nick, give us some background, legal and otherwise.
Okay. Well, thank you for the opportunity. Born and raised in Conneaut, graduate of Conneaut High School. My wife, Lisa Pataki Iarocci, also born and raised in Conneaut. We were high school sweethearts. We have two children, Mary and Lena. Mary's 29 and married. Lena's 27. They both are gainfully employed, living in the Canton, Cuyahoga Falls area. Our parents, fortunately, three of our four parents are still with us. My father-in-law passed away about 13 years ago. I went on to Miami of Ohio to receive my Bachelor's of Science degree in accounting. Went to law school at the University of Toledo College of Law. 2019 marks my 30th year as being a practicing attorney in Ohio. I've been the county prosecutor for the last 6 years. I had a law practice in Conneaut for 19 years or so before I became county prosecutor. I started my legal career in Toledo right out of law school, worked for a large law firm there for about 6 years before we moved back home. I have prosecuted and tried murder cases, rape cases, burglary cases, domestic violence cases, you name it. I've prosecuted it for the last 6 years. I think my commitment to Conneaut and being involved in all of the organizations I have, I was honored to receive Citizen of the Year honors in 2011 from the Chamber of Commerce, and with all my involvement in the Conneaut community and the area, and my commitment to our community, because my wife and I intend to live here the rest of our lives, that coupled with my qualifications and experience as county prosecutor and a private practicing attorney here in the area, that I'm more than qualified and ready and prepared to be the next Conneaut Municipal Court judge.
I was in Conneaut Middle School the other day, and I saw a plaque that reminded me that you were also on the school board.
Yes, I was. Yeah, for 9 years I served a 9-year term, and I was past president of the school board for three years. And at the Conneaut Middle School, my family just last year donated money that we had accumulated for scholarships in memory of my sister Lisa.
Right.
And we have several benches out there.
I noticed one just Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah, yesterday.
So we have those vinyl benches, similar to the ones at the public dock that we had installed last year, along with a picnic table in her memory. And then there at the main entrance, we have a marble kind of a bench that's more engraved, and it's a beautiful memorial to her, since she was a longtime Rao middle school teacher,
yes, she was.
special education
Yes.
teacher. So she's been gone for 20 years now.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to make the move you want to be Conneaut Municipal Court judge?
We all face those forks in the road in our lives.
We do indeed.
Yes, we do. And I noted that, I had been prosecutor for 6 years and, 30 years practicing, and I've been very, very busy man. Being county prosecutor, our office is a very busy place. And I came to this fork in the road where I felt like I wanted to focus more on my hometown. And there was this opportunity. The term for the judgeship was coming due, and I thought that this was that fork in the road, and I steered the car toward the Conneaut position and seeking the Conneaut Municipal Court judge. I ran for this job 24 years ago against Judge Harris, and fortunately I lost. And
well, you were just back into the community too.
Right. It was 1995. I had just moved back home, and from Toledo, and threw my hat in the ring, and so at that time I was interested in the Conneaut judgeship. So here we are 24 years later, and I'm still interested in that position. And I've prepared myself over the course of time to to be a good judge. I think I've developed a lot of in the way of experience and qualifications to serve well in that capacity.
So what would you do different than the incumbent judge is doing now? Or are there programs or things that you're looking at that would be a benefit?
Yes. First off, courthouse security and city hall security is a major concern to me, and I know to several others. And I think the court can play a pivotal role in ensuring and improving substantially the security of City Hall. That would include anybody, the council chambers, but the fact that the court is located in the City Hall building, and that monies are available for security, courthouse security, the court can play a pivotal role, just not in providing security for the court and only the court in that small part of the wing of the City Hall, but for the entire building. Second, we are in the midst and continue to be in the midst of an opiate and methamphetamine epidemic in our county. There are a number of courts throughout the state of Ohio that have adopted specialized dockets.
Ashtabula Municipal Court has one.
Right. Ashtabula Municipal Court has a recovery court. I've been intimately and intensely involved in our adult drug court program at the common pleas level.
Right. Judge Yost has.
Right.
He's been a guest on here talking about that.
Yes. So I've been very active with that on the drug court team. I'm the gatekeeper. Anybody who wants to get in the drug court has to go through me, and I have to do all those reviews. So I know what a treatment court is and what it should be and can be, and Conneaut does not have a specialized docket. Why? I don't know, and that's something that I do see as being an opportunity to provide. There are a lot of grant dollars out there available that will assist in starting and maintaining a treatment court or specialized docket court.
One thing, I did talk to Judge DeFranco about this, and he said that, first of all, there's a staffing problem, but he says he's trying to do with his bailiff an informal type of drug program where the people come in and talk to his bailiff and maybe him as to how things are going, and so that's kind of his answer to that.
I'm a pretty creative guy, and I see a lot of opportunity. And it's time to start thinking outside the box. And to blame not having a treatment court on staffing issues, I think is not thinking outside the box.
Okay.
There are ways to make this happen. I announced in March I was running for this judgeship, and the current judge has maintained this position for 4 or 5 years. And in June, 2, 3, 4 months after I announced my candidacy, and included as one of my platform items the fact that we needed to be on the internet. The Conneaut Municipal Court needed to be accessible publicly, being the only court probably in the state of Ohio that wasn't on the internet. 3 or 4 months later, Conneaut goes online. And so there are, I've tried to use it online, and there's a number of improvements that need to be made. Conneaut Municipal Court needs to be readily accessible to the public. And not just to the public, to those other officials throughout the county that need access to the court's docket. So, the timing of going online is questionable in my mind after I announced that being one of my platforms, but there's a lot of improvement that can be made to the online docket of Conneaut Municipal Court. Finally is accessibility. Why am I running? I intend to be very accessible. Virtually every police officer, law enforcement officer in the county, in the entire county, all 11 law enforcement agencies have my cell number. They know to reach me. I'm available 24/7, and the same would apply if I'm Conneaut Municipal Court judge. I've heard some complaints about the lack of accessibility by the court when is needed, and that's something that I intend to be for those law enforcement officers and other officials. I intend to be very accessible to anybody who needs me at any time.
So this would be like warrants and such that may be needed 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
The bad guys don't sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning often.
Exactly. And then there's no need to reach out to other judges in the county. And our law enforcement agency here has had to do that. And that's unfortunate. So, the judge locally either needs to be totally accessible, or if he or she is not accessible, then they need to have a local acting attorney or acting judge who can fill in their place, who can be available to review search warrants at any time. And it's unfortunate that our current court utilizes Lake County judges to fill in for the local judge when he's not available. That's going to change. There are attorneys locally who are readily able to serve as an acting judge. We don't need to go to Lake County to have our judges come in from Lake County to serve if I'm elected, if I'm not available.
It's kind of I was thinking there'd be some kind of a mindset, I would think, like with a county prosecutor, though, that the people that you're involved with, that they're guilty or working to prove they're guilty. How do you change your mindset on that when you become a judge and you have to figure that they're innocent until proven guilty?
Well, you have to take into account not just the 6 years, but the last 30 years. For 24 years of my 30-year career, well, I'll take that back. For 2 of those 30 years, I was an assistant county prosecutor. So for 22 out of the 30 years, I was essentially a defense attorney. So I represented.
So you've done both.
I've been on both sides of the aisle, and I think having been on both sides of the aisle, both a defense attorney and a prosecutor, I bring an objectivity, and I think I've brought that even as prosecutor, an objectivity that a lot of career prosecutors don't bring to it, the job I'm in right now. And it's important that the judges are able to understand both sides, and that's something I totally bring to this position, having practiced on both sides of the aisle.
Now, you announced a few weeks ago that if you do not win in November, that you will not run for re-election as prosecutor. So how did you come up with that decision? I'm sure hoping that you could get the judgeship.
Right.
That.
No, I mean, it's that fork in the road that we talked about. I'm 55, almost 56 years old. And, I had to make a decision about whether I wanted to continue my career as county prosecutor. And the petition deadline is in December. And I felt, my wife and I have had a lot of talks, and if I'm not successful in the Conneaut judge race, is this something I wanted to continue to pursue? And I decided, in all fairness to those who are interested in being prosecutor, I wanted to give them an opportunity to get their petitions going, and so it's that fork in the road life decision. Is this something I want to continue to do for another 4 years, be county prosecutor? And I decided if I'm not successful at the county judgeship, that's not something I want to continue to do.
Well, you got hammered with some pretty big cases too. It'd be nice not to be. You kind of have to take them home with you to an extent. I mean, the murders, the child murders, all the drugs, the people, the women that got beat up and didn't press charges and were later murdered. I mean, all that kind of stuff's got to just.
Yeah, I mean, we've been. My first year as county prosecutor, I think we had 14 murders.
Yeah.
We've been hammered. Like, that's a good way to put it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm one. If folks know me, I burn the candle on both ends. So I work, and the county prosecutor in Ashtabula County is not a figurehead. He or she is not simply an administrator. We have to get in the trenches and try cases and work cases and be available, and so I've been doing it for 6 years now. And I'm not saying I'm getting tired of it. It's just been I'm at a point in my career, in my life, that I think I want to pursue something different.
We are out of time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Nick Iarocci, running for Municipal Court Judge.